Morning live was postponed to my afternoon live. So this is my normal Monday, manifesting Mondays and Fridays, but it's a little later in the afternoon today. But my first announcement is we finally picked our winner. Well, we picked our winner on Wednesday when the contest closed. So we picked a man named Ralph Cavallo, I believe is how we say his last name. So he's the winner of the Nourish My Soul contest. Who won the the retreat that we're going to have in February. What's up? Everybody's joining. Hi. The last 24 hours have been a little bit insane because of my last post, which I don't know if I expected or I didn't, but I've just been inundated with inquiries about the patches and stuff. And so we can talk a little bit about that if anybody has questions. But for most of you that are joining or seeing this, you know about the patches, you know how they work. I get a lot of the same questions over and over again. But today, we're going to talk about, well, Neville Goddard. I just ordered 3 Neville Goddard books. And for those of you that know or don't know, whenever I get a book, I don't read it from the front to the back. I don't ever read a full book. I just open the book. And wherever I read it or whatever I open it to is what I meant to see at that moment. That's just how I look at it. So I got a book, which is one of Neville's most famous quotes, which is "Feeling is the secret." So Feeling is a Secret. It's a very, very tiny book. And then another one called Manifesting Miracles by Neville Goddard. And then I opened them all to pretty good pages. This is the Neville Goddard Complete Collection. And this is a big one because it has lectures in here and it has all of his books condensed into one. So I'm going to start. Okay, I'm not going to start with that yet. So we're talking about an abundance mindset. And whenever we tend to have an excuse as to why we can't do things, it always comes from a space of lack. So if you find yourself really stuck in your life, it's because you're coming from lack. It's because the thoughts that you're having are all coming from lack or a victim mentality. So if you want to create something and you want to start a business or anything like that, and you tell someone or you speak to someone, I'm sure that there are people that can relate to this. You talk to someone about your idea and you're super excited and whatever, and someone says, well, that costs a lot of money. How are you going to do that? Well, the amount of rent that you have to pay for that place, like you could probably get it somewhere so much cheaper, probably in a bad neighborhood or something like that. Whenever we come across people that live in a state of lack, it becomes very obvious very soon into a conversation. Or it's just a knowingness that you already have about this person, that whenever you mention something good, fun, loving, whatever, they always have a very negative outlook on that. So are these your people? I don't know. If you come from a state of lack, they probably are your people because everyone is a reflection of us. Everyone mirrors our inner thoughts about ourselves. Everyone comes into our life as a mirror to how we feel about us. So if you want to start something and you come across a person that says, how the hell are you going to do this? You're never going to be able to afford that. They're either reflecting back to you your thoughts and how you think, or they're a person that's really no longer resonating with you and hopefully your new mindset and mentality. We need to surround ourselves with movers and shakers and problem solvers. Whenever I'm around someone that says, oh, you can't do that, it's not the right time of year to do this, or no, you shouldn't do that because of this, I don't go by no. No is really not in my vocabulary. Unless it's something I really, really, really strongly don't want to do, right? But if it comes to an idea that I have, I don't ever allow anyone to sway me one way or the other. I don't need anyone else's energy mixing in with my energy when it comes to my ideas and my creations. I'm an artist, I'm a perfectionist, and I get shit done. So when you come across people that have that really negative attitude, is that who you want to surround yourself with? Because you know the saying, you are who you hang with. So when you come across a person that might be so intelligent, they have so many cool ideas, but they're on a road to nowhere, it's because they come from a state of lack. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to be around it. I don't want that energy to enmesh with my energy. If you have an idea about something and you truly believe in it, but you have a lack mentality, you'll never, and you don't want to change it, you'll never be able to do what it is that you want to do. Yeah, but I want to do this, but it's just going to be so expensive. Like, Maybe I can cut corners and do it this way. You're still coming from lack. You're still coming from lack. How do you cope with yourself when it comes to that? You change your mindset. You're not coping with anything, you're changing. Because if we're coping with something, that means we're accepting it. We've proved many wrong when they didn't think we would be successful. And that's the truth. My whole life, even people that shouldn't have said no to me or shouldn't have discouraged me as people in my family. You can't do this, you'll never make enough money. Why don't you just do this because you'll make more money doing that? I never did anything for the money in my life. I did it for the passion. And then the money came. Even as a dancer. I didn't even make a lot of money, but I did it for the passion and the love of it. And then I changed my mindset because that was still coming from a state of lack. But the things that I do now, I don't do for the money of it. I do it because I love it and I'm so passionate about it. And I believe in it. I feel it. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is the secret. I'll just read the back of it. Were it possible to carry conviction to another by means of reasoned arguments and detailed instances, this book would be many times its size. It is seldom possible, however, to do so by means of written statements or arguments, since to the suspended judgment, it always seemed plausible to say that the author was dishonest or deluded, and therefore his evidence was tainted. So a lot of people with Neville Goddard, they didn't believe in what he said. They didn't believe that you could see something in your mind and it happens in your reality. And what I'm going to read from this just like struck a chord in me, because literally everything happens in your mind first. If you want to make breakfast, you don't just go out into your kitchen and your breakfast is made for you, unless you have a maid or a cook. It has to become in your mind first. I'm going to make pancakes. You see the vision in your mind of the pancakes, right? Because when you think of something, you see it. And then you put the ingredients together and it's in your reality. And that's literally the formula for everything in your reality. It has to start in your mind. It doesn't just appear out of luck. Oh, that person's so lucky. It doesn't just appear out of bad luck. That person is so unlucky. It first happens in your mind. No matter what, if it's good luck or it's bad luck, that happens in your mind first. It doesn't happen anywhere else. It doesn't just pop into the universe and into your lap. Oh, you're so lucky. No, it's your mindset and mentality. Thank you, Silver Drafts. That the person works so hard to be lucky. That person works physically hard, but that person also works mentally hard. Because luck, there is no such thing as luck. If that person had a mindset of just, I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to be able to do anything with myself. I have to work hard to make money. Like I'm working all these hours and I'm barely making any money. That's a victim mentality. That is a lack mindset. That is a poverty mindset. Whereas someone else could work really hard. They're reading, they're researching, they're creating, and they're like, I'm so successful. Like this comes so easy to me. Money comes so easy to me. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. That's all that it is. But if you constantly believe, well, I just can't do it because of this. Well, that's going to cost a lot of money. That is a mindset. Stop making fucking excuses for why your life is the way that it is, because the only reason that it is that way is because of you. It's not because of the government. It's not because of this person. It's not because of your mother. It's not because of your father. They passed down a certain kind of thinking, a certain kind of programming, that money is hard to come by. We never have enough. We can't pay the bills. It's only a programming. It doesn't mean that it's a life sentence. Are you going to break the mold of these generational traumas or these generational belief systems? Or are you going to continue to victimize yourself in your life and say that I'm just so unlucky? Oh, I'm just always sick all the time. Oh, this just doesn't happen to me. It always happens to other people. Why does that person have it and I don't? Because they know how to use their mind. Maybe it's not even conscious. Most people aren't even conscious of the fact that it's a mindset that brings them what they need, and a lot of people aren't. All these successful people, the Tony Robbins of the world, and all these kind of people, what did he teach all the time? He was teaching this. And maybe he didn't call it manifestation. Maybe he just said, get your mind right, get your head right. How do athletes become the best at what they do? It's a mindset. I was with my 19-year-old nephew over the weekend, and I did not want to do that cold plunge. And I complained about it, and I bitched about it. was like, I don't want to get in. It's too cold. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And he just went like this. I'm like, I know. But he wasn't wrong. Because by day 2, when I did it again, I didn't like it. But I did it. And I'm like, this isn't that bad. I don't like it. But I thought to myself, once you get in that mindset, you're like, this isn't that bad. I made myself crazy about it. Something that's so insignificant as that. That I like, my stomach hurt before the first time I did it. Because I was like, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't like being cold. I hate being cold. It's just like, whatever. But everything comes down to, what are you going to do? Every time you think of something negative. I can't stop dreaming about my ex, and it's killing me emotionally. I don't know what to do. Write a letter of whatever it is that you want to say to them. Don't send it. Literally write it out with a pen. It's so powerful. Like, we don't understand like how much we hold on to things, even if we don't realize that we're holding on to that energy of not being able to use our throat chakra to say the things that we want to say. So it comes up in our consciousness, and then you dream about it. There's obviously something that you want to say. Write it down. Write it down and just keep it. You're moving energy. You're moving energy. It's why they say it's so powerful to write things in your own handwriting with a pen. When you're writing out your affirmations, don't text it on your phone. Take a picture of it and make it your screensaver. But write it in your own handwriting, because there is power to writing with our own handwriting. Right? It's not artificial. Everything about this cell phone is fake and artificial. But when we actually use our own energy, our own hand to write something, it's very different from typing something on an electronic screen. Use your own electricity to the paper, where you have a pen in your hand and you're using your own electricity to actually write something down. And it's in your own image. Font on your phone is not in your own image. Your actual writing. I write in shorthand. Everything I do, I write in shorthand. No one can understand anything that I write except for me. I showed Lindsay when we were at the retreat, and I showed it to her, and she was like, oh my God, how do you read this? But it's my own language, right? It has my electricity in it. I hear that also writing such affirmations in blue ink also gives an energetic power too. And even the color has something to do with it. When you are writing and you're refusing a ticket, you write in red writing. When you're signing certain documents, it has to be in a certain color. All of these things matter. All of these things have energetic properties. And when we just realize that all we are is energy, and that our thoughts are so filled with electricity. So think about that. If your thoughts are with electricity, there's energy to them, then aren't you going to start thinking differently? If I know that my thoughts are alive and they create, I'm going to catch myself when I'm being negative. I'm going to catch myself when I say I can't afford. I don't say those things anymore, but I'm just saying in general. Those thoughts are not even in my head. I don't have limitation when it comes to money anymore, like I did when I was a dancer. I danced professionally for a long time, and I made the salary of a professional dancer, which was nothing. So it's, what is it that you want out of life? And then go after it mentally first. Because if you have these things that you want in life, and then you limit yourself just with your thoughts, you ain't never going to get it. That person that walks into your life that says, hey, I want to offer you this job, is not going to come. Because you're going to say, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not worthy. Or maybe you'll get the dream job, but inside your worthiness, you don't feel worthy of having this position. Eventually something will happen where you'll lose that job. For whatever reason, you will manifest something to where that situation turns out exactly to reflect what your true beliefs about yourself are. Everything in our reality is just a reflection of us. It's like holding a mirror. How do I feel about myself? I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I'm ever chosen. My parents never loved me. So every relationship that you are in is going to reflect that. Every job that you get is going to reflect the exact feelings that you have about yourself. It's called huge energetic misalignment. How do you go through it without coming from life? I'm going through a heavy breakup. My boyfriend is clinging to the 3D programming for dear life, and it's caused a huge energetic misalignment. How do you go through it without coming from lack? So breakups are obviously very difficult because there's so much energy happening, right? There's so much energy that you're putting out. There's so much energy that you're not getting back. But when you put yourself in a state of everything works out perfectly for me, it's very vague, right? But you don't have to put yourself in a situation or in a thought pattern that's maybe not realistic for you. So everything works out for my highest good. Everything is always working out perfectly for me, even if it doesn't seem that way now. I feel like I'm going to tug a war between my old version of myself and my higher version. And a lot of people are in that space where things will keep showing up in your reality right now from the old belief system. And I'm just going to give you an analogy. This glass of water. If I put dirt in this glass of water, then I'm like, well, I just want to drink clean water now. And I just pour clean water in it. Does that mean I have clean water? No. You're going to have to keep pouring clean water until all the dirty water overflows and there's only clean water in your glass. That is the same exact thing with your mindset and mentality. So when you've imprinted when your subconscious is imprinted with negative programming, that negative programming has to show up in your reality somehow. Once you start replacing the negativity, the negative programs with positive ones, which is the dirty water, it still has to play out. So maybe you're shifting and you're changing. So other things that are like from your old self or your lower self are going to show up until they don't show up anymore, until you are persistent. Neville Goddard always says persist, persist, persist. Persist in the state of the wish fulfilled. Everything always works out perfectly. Even though things are still showing up in your reality that are not what you really want, continue to persist in the belief that everything works out perfectly for me. I said this in my last live, and Neville says this. If it's not your end desire, it's not the end. Do you know what your end desire is? If you're going through a breakup, what is your end desire? Is it getting back with the person and hoping that they change? Is it moving on and doing something different, meeting someone new? What is the new story that you're telling yourself? When we get clear on what we want, that's how we get exactly what we want. So if we start to see that person in a different light, and that person starts to understand where you're coming from and what you're seeing, right? They start to show up like that. But if you're constantly coming from a state of lack, and I don't have, and he left me, and why can't we figure this out? He's always going to show up that way, or she's always going to show up that way. When we start to see, I have to read Andrew's thing. I didn't read it. We have to start seeing things differently for them to show up differently. And it's very difficult, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. But when you realize that you are the creator of your reality, then you get some of your power back. I didn't see what Andrew said. The tug of war is if a snake who sheds its skin and picks it back up and carries a dead skin around that is meant to be shed. We need to learn how to shed and not pick it back up. Doesn't get much better than that. It does not get much better than that. We have to allow change to happen. We have to allow change to happen. So if it's shedding the skin, if it is shedding the old story, letting the old story go, why are you still carrying it around with you? If it doesn't serve you any longer, if it doesn't resonate with you, if it's on a different frequency, that's how we hold ourselves back, is from holding on to the things that no longer serve us. Let's see what time it is. Okay. So I'm finally going to read from this gigantic book. It just came today. It's called Neville Goddard, The Complete Collection. You want change? If you read this book and you still aren't changed, then listen, there ain't no hope for you. So I opened this book. I said, okay, I just opened the book and I opened it up to page 45. I don't read books front to back. So, for God calleth those things which be not as though they were. And it says, for God, which is your consciousness, calleth those things which be not as though they were. We talk about this all the time. Maybe this Bible verse from Romans 4:17 doesn't make sense to you, but he talks about things that are not now seen will be seen the moment you become conscious of being that which is not now seen. What the hell does that mean? Thanks, Karen. So it's literally seeing things in your mind as though you already have them, even though you don't see them now. That's what prayer is. That's what manifestation is. Calleth forth those things which be not as though they were. See things in your mind that are not already happening as though they are. No matter what it is. See yourself healthy, even though you're not healthy yet. See yourself with the body that you want, even though your body is not how you want it yet. See yourself in the perfect job or business that you have already, but you don't have it yet in your three-dimensional reality. Calleth those things which be not as though they were. It's tricking the mind into believing that you already have it, so it becomes a familiar feeling and it becomes a programming. That I already have this. And then all their manifestations become much easier after that. Because you realize, I am that powerful. I am that powerful. This rising from one level of consciousness to another is the only ascension that you will ever experience. I'm going to read that again. This rising from one level of consciousness to another is the only ascension that you will ever experience. No man can lift you to the level that you desire. No man can lift you to the level that you desire. It only can happen through your consciousness. That is your ascension. The power to ascend is within yourself. It is your consciousness. So when a lot of people are talking about the ascension that's happening and we're moving into a new earth and all these things, the ascension is your rise in consciousness. So if enough people rise in their own level of consciousness, a new reality will exist. Whether you want to call that new earth or whatever it is. The ascension is not all of us flying up into the sky together. The ascension is all of us flying up to the certain level of consciousness that we can together, which is called co-creation. If people start to all rise in consciousness, which many people are having this ascension, it is a rise in a level of consciousness. You appropriate the consciousness of the level you desire to express by claiming that you are now expressing such a level. So it's a lot of delusion. We live in delusion every single day by imagining bad things are going to happen. Oh, I just had such a bad feeling about this. Yeah, no shit. If you had a bad feeling about something, I can guarantee you that bad thing's going to happen in your reality. Why? Because feeling is the secret. When you feel something, oh, I felt it in my gut, you're manifesting it. If a lot of people, oh, I just felt it, I knew something bad was going to happen, you're manifesting that together. Same thing with prayer. How do miracles happen when people pray? You're not even in the same room or maybe the same country of the specific person that you are praying for, and a miracle happens. That is called co-creation. You're co-creating a reality where you're seeing in your mind that person is already healed. Co-creation. This is the ascension. It is limitless, for you will never exhaust your capacity to ascend. There is no limitation in how high you can ascend. There's always work to do. There's levels to this shit. There's levels to how high you can ascend. So we'll skip over to my journal, which is always, it's actually 9. Where is it? The map of consciousness that we talk about all the time. There are levels to this shit. So you can live in the survival paradigm, which is going to be the lowest form of consciousness that you can be, which is collectively where most of the world is. You're in shame, you're in guilt, you're in anger, you're in fear, you're in desire, you're in pride. Or you can move up a level to reason and integrity. And then the highest level is spiritual. What is this? The spiritual paradigm at the very top. And you could see love is up there. You could see enlightenment is up there. There's only 3 people known to reach the level of enlightenment, and it's way above love. That was Jesus, Buddha, and who the hell was the other one? Krishna, maybe? I don't remember. So when people think that they're enlightened, they're probably full of shit. When people say that they are in the spiritual paradigm of love, they're also probably full of shit. Because we don't understand what that really is, that embodiment. How to embody love all the time. It's very different than saying, oh, I'm such a loving person. It's very different. To live in the spiritual paradigm, you're a very high level being. I sure as hell aren't. I'm not there. I'm not even close. I live in pride sometimes, which is in the survival paradigm. I live in courage, which is in reason and integrity. I live in courage most days. I live in neutrality a lot, which bothers people because they always say that you have to pick a side or you're spiritually bypassing. These are all also people that live in their spiritual ego, because there is such a thing. People that tell you how you should live or judge you because you're not living a certain way. That would be your spiritual ego telling people who you think that they should be and how they should live their life. And you should take this side and you should stand up for humanity and you should do this and you should do that. Not everyone is here to make those decisions. Not everyone is here to learn that lesson. Oh, this is my journal, guys. Love more. This is a journal. This is my writings, my sister's and Lindsay. It's a manifestation journal. So it's on my website, nourishmysoulretreats.org. But that's where the map of consciousness is. That's where I was reading it from. So let's go back to the Neville book. Turn from the human superstition of ascension with its belief in its masters and find the only and everlasting master, which is within yourself. That's why I love Neville, because he teaches the Bible's teachings, but he teaches it from a state of, this is all a map of our consciousness. This is a map of our own consciousness. The I am. I have told you that I am. If therefore you seek me, let these go their way. As soon then as he said unto them, I am, they went backward and fell to the ground. Today there is so much to be said about masters, elder brothers, adepts, and initiates, that numberless truth seekers are being constantly misled by seeking these false lights. There are so many false lights. There are so many false teachers out there. And so in discovering Neville Goddard and in discovering his way of explaining biblical terms and what the Bible means from his interpretation and through many other philosophers for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that this is literally a map to your consciousness. It's not literal meanings. The I am is all over the Bible. And how Neville explains it is the I am is not talking about Jesus, this man that would say, I am the way, the truth, and the light. Follow me. In so many other words. I am. If you just take the phrase, I am the way, the truth, and the light. The I amness is everything that you are. And I said this the last 2 or 3 lives. I am are 2 of the most powerful words, because what you follow after them becomes your reality. So if you say I am, your I amness is the way, the truth, and the light. Because your I am is, I am ugly, I am fat, I am disgusting, I'm a loser, I am poor. Or I am amazing, I am great, I am loving, I am caring, I am deserving. Your I am is the way, the truth, and the light. And that makes a lot more sense to me than giving your power to a God outside of yourself. Because ultimately, you are the reason why your reality is the way that it is. My I am, what I believe about myself to be true, is what shows up in my reality. I am not good enough. I am not good enough to live in a nice and stable home in a safe neighborhood. I am not good enough to have safe transportation. I am not good enough to have the job that I want, so I continue to manifest really shitty situations for myself. I am not chosen in relationships, so I continue to bring forth people in relationships that still don't choose me. And why? Why is the same person? Every person that I'm with leaves me. It is your I amness. That's it. I am is the way, the truth, and the light. And it leaves the responsibility on us. It doesn't leave us to believe that something outside of ourselves is giving us something. Because we're really good and we're praying really hard. It's all about your I amness. And that leaves us to be responsible for our lives. Nothing else. Far greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The he that is in you. What do you believe yourself to be true? For greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. There is no greater he out there that can give you what you need in here. It is you and your consciousness that gives you what you need so that you have the things that you desire in your outside world. What's up, Angelo? We're going to stop after this. I am, your awareness, is Lord and Master, and beside your awareness, there is neither Lord nor Master. You are master of all that you will ever be aware of being. Because you are. If something good happens to you, you're the master of that. It happened because of your beliefs. If something amazing happens to you, you are the master of that because it happened to you because that energy that you're putting forth with your thoughts is what was boomerang back to you. That's it. We complicate this so much, but it's all it is our consciousness. You could be completely isolated by man from that which you are conscious of being, yet you would, in spite of all human barriers, effortlessly draw to yourself all that you are conscious of being. Example, if you were on a deserted island and your mindset was, I'm going to starve to death, I'm going to die, I know that there's dangerous animals out here, I'm going to get stung by the most dangerous creature here, I'm never going to be saved, what's going to happen to me? I can guarantee that you are not going to survive very long. But if you are on an island by yourself and in your mind and consciousness, in your I amness, is I am able to build a home that's going to support me or that is going to keep me safe from possible predators, from bad weather. I am going to find all of the trees that bear the most fruit. I am going to fish every single day and catch fish so that it sustains me. I am going to be saved very quickly. It is all just a state of being, your I amness. What is your I amness? So again, it says you don't have to be around any other man to bring forth the things that you need to survive. You don't. Because if you believe, if you're lost somewhere, that you're going to be found. If you believe that if you're lost somewhere and you're going to find food, you're going to find it. If you are lost somewhere and you believe that there's no water and, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to die. That's probably going to be your fate. So think about your I amness and think about how important that is. I am the way, the truth, and the light. It's your I amness that gives you everything that you have in life. I think I say the same things over and over again sometimes, but it took me months and months and months of listening to it and hearing it for it to finally click. Because for a long time, I'm like, oh, this shit is crazy. I don't know. I didn't know how to read Neville books because all of his wording and, I mean, he speaks, it's not the easiest. But once I understood what the hell he was saying, then everything else got so much easier. Everything else got so much easier. So I'm not afraid of this book that is this big because I understand what he's saying. And I always want to be able to explain it in a million different ways so that people that are listening will get it. So I'll repost this. Want to listen to it again? Have fun. We do need the repetition because you know why? Repetition is what imprints the subconscious mind. And the more times we hear something, the more we believe it to be true, whether it's true or not, which is exactly why They were so successful with so many people during COVID because they just kept repeating lie after lie over and over again, using the same exact sentences. And what happens? It impresses the subconscious mind and it becomes a belief. So you can literally show someone absolute proof that was a big fat lie and they still won't believe you because it's a programming. That's it. So I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and is having a good holiday season. And remember your I amness. When negativity starts to creep up, remember your I amness. Is this what I want to continue to have happen in my life? What is my I amness? And it's repetition, and it's going to take months for some people to change their ideas and their consciousness. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. So have a beautiful weekend, everyone. We did pick the winner for the contest, which his name is Ralph Cavallo, for the retreat. What else do we have? Gary and I are going to do a Zoom tonight on patches. There was a lot of people with questions, and I'm overwhelmed with the response for my before and after picture. So it will be at 7 o'clock, and I will put the link in my story if you guys want to join it. And work on your I amness. Adios.